behalf of the Iraqi American Association of Illinois, I would like to welcome you all to this wonderful activity. We're gathered here to honor Dr. Abdelhadi Al-Khalili, and we would like to welcome him, welcome his family. Now I'm going to leave the microphone for Dr. Lidi Hussein to introduce our guest of honor.
Good evening. It's with great pleasure that I want to introduce Dr. Abdelhadi Al-Khalili. Dr. Abdelhadi is the Iraqi Cultural Attache in Washington, D.C. And I said I would say a few words about him, so I got his CV. And it was not a CV, it was a book full of accomplishments. So I tried to summarize his accomplishments, and if you have any questions, I can give you the CV, you can go through it. It's very, very impressive. He started his career with a bang. He was the valedictorian of the class of 1966 at the University Medical College. And after that, he went on to continue his studies. He became a neurosurgeon, and he got his FRCS degree from Edinburgh. And he came back and served his country and his nation for 4 decades. He served it with honor and with consciousness, and not only was he a neurosurgeon, and we heard over the years of his achievements, and reading it was very, very impressive. He is a scientist, a teacher, which is very important, teaching the coming generation, an author of several books and numerous articles of neurosurgery, and he's also an inventor. He was also the professor of neurosurgery and chairman at the university for close to 20 years. And presently, he is the cultural attaché. When I was reading this, and all of us will feel the same, I felt a little sad. The loss of Iraq is the gain of us here, or his adopted country. But after all, we are all citizens of the world, so we should be happy that he's here among us today. And in his role as the cultural attaché, he has done quite a bit in the short period he's been here. And he's here to tell us about those things that he plans to do, ask your opinion about it, and you can ask him questions about the cultural aspect. No politics. We are not a political association, just his culture. So with this, I'll have Dr. Abdelhadi Al-Khalili come up to the podium.
Thank you, Lily, for this introduction, which is more than I deserve. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's a great pleasure and honor to be here, to be invited by Muslims. And all the wonderful community here. I'm really honored to be here to tell you of what we are doing on our shoulders. This is our ambassador. He sends his regards to all of you. What we've done, in fact, in many aspects we have worked here. We went beyond our job description, which is taking care of the students. So we have many things being done now, and we are planning to do lots of these, which you can see here, lots of things which we are going to get in detail about these. About the students, we have a problem with our students because, as you very well know, that each graduate student comes here to US, he has to have his TOEFL and GRE before he's accepted. And none of our students have GRE or TOEFL. So we face this problem, and we had really many university professors and university presidents and provosts to have several meetings with them at their places, in our place, in different places, and they kindly accepted to accept our students on conditional terms. which means the visa will cover the English training here to get the TOEFL, the GRE, and then covers the graduate studies, which is real achievement and generosity from the university presidents and provosts. We have currently about 74, this is an old slide, 38 arrived, now we have 74 of them, and they are part of 300 students. Most of them are PhDs, and most of them in science, very small number in humanities and masters. And they are spread all over the country. In fact, when we finish here, we are going to go to Oklahoma to see our students there. We have about 40 there. And we go to Arkansas after that to see them. And we have in other places some more graduate students. And this batch is part of 300 students supposed to come, and they are coming every week. We are having one or two come arriving to the US. In the coming year, you possibly have heard that Prime Minister announced a NAFSA meeting, which is the higher education meeting in Washington last May. We are going to have 10,000 graduate students and undergraduate students sent from Iraq to the Western countries on scholarship. So, and for 5 years, supposedly, each year we'll have 10,000. And if this is really materialized, that would be a big achievement, a great jump to Iraq education and investment in the future of Iraq. The other problem, I should mention that most of the universities, they have online application, as you know. In fact, none have no online application, no paper application. So in Iraq, if you are a student there, to get internet is not an easy thing, it's a real difficult problem. There is no electricity. And then you have to pay online, and there is no credit card there. So technical problems, which are really important problems for accepting the student, and we have discussed this with the universities, and they accepted that we pay their application fees and other requirements, and rather than doing it online, which is impossible to be done. We have done lots of cultural activities, because this is our beyond job description, non-conventional activities, which I think is very important when we are here and we can do something, we have to do it, and we have to do it to the best of ability. All our cultural activities we have made with universities in the region, with University of George Washington University, with Georgetown, with American University, with the Smithsonian Museum. So the activities are really on top in performance and expectation. We started with Dr. Donny George, who possibly you know him. Donny is كان رئيس هيئة الآثار, the chief of the archaeology of Iraq, and he is now a visiting professor at Stony Brook in New York. And he was telling us about the museum and the looted item from the museum, which you all, I think, know better than anybody else in the US from McGuire Gibson and from your relation to this in Chicago. So Donny was telling these guys, many of them were Americans, experts, and interested in Iraq. They attended, and this is the George Washington University and joining us there. And then we have a big Iraqi maqam and art activity. And we brought Amir Safar, you know him very well, and his team. And it was real evening with American University, where about 500 people. The emotion was really beyond expectation and beyond imagination. Even the American technician who was running the technical things, the electrical, electronic machines, he's American, and he was in tears, just joining what's going on here in emotion in the area. And we got a professor from Canada, Professor Rob Sims, who talked about Iraqi maqam in the 21st century. And we invited also Muwaffaq al-Tikriti, you know him from Montreal, to speak about the Iraqi maqam and culture and religion. And it was scholarly activity and also artistic. So this is part of this is George Rob Sims, and this is Rahim al-Haj, he joined us there, who is at Albuquerque. Do you know Rahim al-Haj? He's first-class oud player. And we have 35 artists showing their work in the Katzen Center at the American University. It was a real achievement there for the artists to show what they have. The other activity we had tribute to the big scientist, Dr. Fakhri al-Bazzaz, who was a leading environmental biologist at Harvard University, and he passed away last year. And we had this tribute to him. And this, we had Dr. Ihsan Shahbaz from St. Louis. Ihsan is one of the leading scientists in plantology, in plants in the US. He discovered 600 plants, and we are really proud of him. And we have Jamil Qerdar, professor of cardiology at Harvard. They both came and talked in his tribute, and this is Ma'arib, his wife, and his daughter. A man from London, I call him Umma fi Rajul wa Rajul fi Umma. He has a website called Al-Misbar, and a search engine in Arabic called Al-Hudhud, if you have heard of him. So you just put Al-Hudhud, H-O-U, hudhud.com, and it is just like Google, but in Arabic. And he has about, I think, 2 billion words he put in his database, and he knows exactly which word entered the Arabic language use and what was when it was out of use. And if you give him a book in Arabic, Mamharrak, and then he will, few minutes, will give you all the book, Muharrak bil-fa'il, al-maf'ul bihi, wal-fatha wal-dhamma. He's a real genius. I invited him from London to come here, and here he is, Adnan, and he gave a talk about computing Arabic language. It was a good achievement, really, for his work, and showing that Iraqis are wonderful and great if they have the right niche. We did an activity with Nazik al-Mala'ika with Georgetown University, and it was again a big event. We invited Dr. Abdul Hassan Zalzala from Canada. He came and he spoke, he gave poetry. And Sayyid Ali Mahfouz from Iraq on his behalf, Dr. Mahmoud Thamar, he gave a talk. And then Abdullah Sayed from Detroit, they gave a talk. And then we had students from Georgetown University, 8 students, Arabic language. They read her poetry, 4 in English and 4 in Arabic. And we had Afan Shahid, the head of department, he gave a nice talk there. And Hudson was the chief of the institute. So that's Georgetown University. And we had many meetings with the Iraqi community in different places of US, and Washington, of course, and Boston, Houston, Nashville, Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee, Columbus, Ohio, Indianapolis, Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego, and now here we are proud to join together in this event. This is Nashville, and this is Boston. You may know Dr. Shakir Mustafa. Shakir is professor of English language, and he writes a chapter on Iraq in the National Geographic. And he's really somebody we're proud of. Nawal, his wife, won an international award on a book she wrote on cooking at the time of caliphs, Fiyot al-Khulafa. And that book got an award international, and she received the award in London. And we are planning to have an Iraqi kitchen festival in DC, and she is going to master that. It will be some event which is lively, I think it will be. This is in Knoxville, Fuad Misho, if you know of him. He's a great musician and scholar musician in Knoxville. He's a fantastic guy. Now he is in the process of completing his 2,000 CDs of Iraqi heritage music and songs. He completed, you can put 1,500 so far. And he is 85, and he is a wonderful person, and very dedicated to his work. And this is, of course, Amir Safar. And that's his sister and his brother-in-law. That's again Knoxville. in Houston. We have many visitors. This is Sheikh Sattar, رئيس الإخوة الطائفة الصابئية. We met with him and we were working on trying to save the Sabi language because it's not being used and it's going to fade. So we communicated with many universities to get this considered. Many other people coming. Ghazi Darwish, if anybody knows him. That's Ghazi Darwish. حمودي عباس رئيس مؤسسة الأدوية بالعراق. We met with people in Jordan. These are top academics, which one feels really sorry that they are. مثل ما دكتورة ليلي she mentioned that there are so many talents who left Iraq, unfortunately, because of different reasons. And these are top scientists, Iraqi scientists who left Iraq and then they are in Jordan. من عندهم مثلا مازن عبد الحميد السامرائي منذر التكريتي شوقي نادي جواز and others. These are top artists. Tariq is the leading ceramic artist. So if you know Qutb Babylon Hotel in Baghdad, this big arch of Ishtar Gate, he did that. Saad al-Ka'bi is the leading painter, very well known. Both of them are now in US as on the United Nations program. So Iraq has lots of work. And also Abbas Baghdadi, if you know, the leading Khattab. He is now in US and Virginia. زهير بحراني, وليد شوكت الخيال, إحسان بحراني. This is very interesting and I'm really proud of these ladies who are volunteers are helping Iraqi refugees in Jordan. They are serving 1,700 families in Jordan, just volunteers. 125 ladies helping Iraqis in Jordan in the way of health care and education care. Zakaria Yahya, is chief of plastic surgery and Dr. Al-Anwan. This is the WHO chief of Iraq. Now, what we have done, there is the Italian government donated a mobile surgical operating theater, cost $2.5 million, made in St. Johnsbury and Vermont. And that has been sent to Iraq, and now it's working in Nasiriyah, because the Italian army was in Nasiriyah, so they wanted just to remember their 19 soldiers were killed there. So they donated this to Nasiriyah. And it is top quality. This is in the Senate. We were receiving this from the Senate House celebration, and that is the mobile theater. It is just like a huge container and then expand sideways to be 1,000 square foot size and has operating theater with top specification in the American standard. So it's now in Nasiriyah working and we hope to get some more. Books, many donors donated to books, and IRD, the International Relief and Development, they sent nearly 400,000 books. And now they arrived 231,000 books. And also I got the meeting with the American Association of Publishers, and we got from them donation to 20 medical schools. And the American Journal or the New England Journal of Medicine, they donated journals for 10 years to 50 major hospitals, and they are now on the board that they need to go to Iraq. And this is the shipment of those medical books and journals, and also surgical instruments. And this is in a foundation called Brothers at Pittsburgh, and they did the shipment. And Life NGO in Detroit, they offered to ship all these for free to Iraq. And that's the shipment of the medical books and the journals. IMSA donated again, IMSA, our Association, or Iraqi Medical Sciences Association, which we are proud of. They donated projectors like this one to many universities in Iraq. And there are private donations from Dr. Hussein Qama, psychiatric books, Hamid al-Mundari, Amr al-Juhuri, and neurological books, and many other donations going. And we can ship them, by the way, for free. We have an NGO who is helping us. So any donation you have, we can help in shipping them. Books went to different universities directly. The Mosul University, now Anbar University has received 20,000 books, and Nahrain University. So there are many books being sent by different donors, and we are and just joining their effort to help them. But the donation is not from us, from different places. The shipment is done through different places, but we are coordinating. The American College of Radiology, we went to see them, and I met Dr. Harvey Neiman, who is the head of CEO of the American College of Radiology, and he kindly offered us 6 scholarships for radiologists to come here and train in the best centers. And they pay for their travel expenses, but the Iraqi community here will host those doctors. And I'm proud to say Suham Kubba, sister of Adnan, she hosted one of the ladies in Ann Arbor in Michigan, and she had her training for 1 month, and everybody was happy, and she was put on the website of the American College of Radiology, and we are waiting for the other 6 to come, the 5. Then Henry Ford Health System. Last January, I went to see Mark Kelly, the director of the Henry Ford Health System, and he kindly offered 100 scholarships for Iraqi doctors in 10 specialties to come and train for free. We only pay the expenses of travel and accommodation. And now, at this moment, we have 10 doctors at Detroit now. And we have 8 doctors at Johns Hopkins. And we have 3 doctors at National Children's Hospital, and in Arizona and Boston, a total of 31 doctors. Observation is not as good as one wants, but at least we wanted something to start with, to get the link, to get the mill running. So in the future, we hope to get special training program of 2 months, 3 months, 1 year or more to get the training on good basis. Dr. Hazem Safi, he offered to get 2 teams of cardiac surgeons, cardiologists, perfusionists, and technician and nurse to come and train for 2 months in his department. And we are in the process of doing this. In San Francisco, As'ad Hassoun is a transplant surgeon, and again he offered to help with training doctors. And I'm sure amongst you here and outside this place, there are so many talents and so many people who can offer to train our doctors or other specialties, engineers or academics, to have the opportunity to come here and train. This is in the Ford Health System. The other program which we work on, the Green Computer. Nicholas Negroponte, who is the brother of John Negroponte, the politician. Nicholas, he's a professor at MIT, and he has this program of 1 laptop per child. And this green computer, that's the green computer, which is green environmentally because there's nothing moving in that computer, all static electricity. And it is the region of $288. It has great capacity as a computer with video camera, with the convertible screen. And this is to be given to children between the ages of 6 and 12. Not below, not above. And it has to be given to the developing countries. We cannot get this computer here. And he donated 100 computers, which we sent to Iraq. Now it is in one of the schools, and there is an American technician teaching everybody to work on this, and we hope that this will expand this project. Our aim, in fact, to get all the students in Iraq to get this in the future. The students in the private school. In archaeology, we have lots of work with the archaeology specialists here and with the FBI, the Iraqi section part, and also the customs department, and specifically in New York and in Arizona. We have new communication with them. And they recovered 1,000 pieces of items looted from Iraq. And these pieces now recovered and delivered to Iraq at a ceremony there. And we have the Iraqi Jewish Archive, which was taken in 2003 when they were in one of the cellars with some water flooding, destroying them partially. Brought here, restored, and now they are going, after the complete restoration, they are going to go to Baghdad to Iraq, to the museum. This is, for instance, I was telling Adnan about this. This is a lioness. Have you seen this on the news? Yeah, this lioness is about 3¼ inch in height. It was sold in Sotheby's in New York. It was offered for $17 million. It was sold for $57 million. And it was taken from Iraq. An Iraqi lioness. So if we have really good organization, we can stop something like this. Although this was taken from Iraq in the 40s, but nevertheless one could have done something about similar items sold on the market. The Iraqi Talent Award, which we created, this talent award is given to distinguished Iraqi Americans nationally, on national level in the US. And this was given to 4 people in a ceremony at the embassy. And those 4 people were Hani Fandagli, is a businessman who was awarded really distinguished award, which was given to 6 ex-presidents and Nobel Prize winners and others, among others. So he got this medal. And this is Kan'an al-Hassani, whose son was distinguished at MIT. His son couldn't come from Boston, so he came on behalf of his son. And Safa al-Hamdani was professor of biology at Jacksonville State University. He was distinguished among 120 southern universities in US in biology. And Hala Sarraf, she was distinguished in leadership and education, and she was awarded this award. So the award which we gave, we called the Iraqi Talent Award, something simple but symbolic, just to have an incentive for other distinguished Iraqis, children, adults, scientists, painters, artists, whoever is distinguished nationally, we would love to acknowledge him. And if you know of any, love to know about these names so we can contact them. Presentations, different places, just to show people about Iraq, in different places, Harvard, Johns Hopkins, San Diego, Boston, American Academy of Sciences. And this Academy of Sciences, I talked about women in Iraq, and in details, what they were in the past and what they are now and what likely to be. The Library of Congress, that was something really very important. Proud of that, because Library of Congress is a place which is not easy to get access to. So we got there a big hall, which is costing about $10,000 a day. We got it for free. And we got breakfast, 2 breaks, and lunch supplied by the library for free for a conference called Together for Iraq. And in that conference, we invited 100 people from different NGOs, from Department of Defense, from Department of State, Department of Education, Department of Health, from UN and from World Bank. And it was a big event for Iraq. We had 4 sessions, one on health, one education, one socio-economic, and one general. And we had 20 speakers there, and all came to speak about Iraq. And you can see on the Library of Congress website the video of that conference for 5 hours, and it will remain there on the website of the Library of Congress. So that was really I'm proud of, because it is something not very easy to do. With the Fairfax Educationists, we have some activity, and Texas A&M, their Boston, Houston. So this is the educationist of Fairfax. Different universities we went to meet for sake of our students, and we met different officials, president of universities, provost, international student officials, to get things organized for to help our students. And this is Massachusetts University in Boston. And this is 8 Many people visited our offices. These are many university professors and provosts at the embassy. They met with us there. Communities from different places. Sports. We celebrated when Iraq got the Asian Cup. We had big celebration there with dancing, and everybody was happy there. And this is the disaster city at College Park in Texas. Disaster city is a place where you have all sorts of disasters there. And they train people how to deal with disasters. And they train every year 50,000 people there. So we're trying to get Iraqis to come and learn how to deal with disasters in the way of firefighting, the way of ambulance, of recovering people from under the rubble. For those looted items from the Iraqi Museum and archaeological sites, Maguire Gibson and others here in Chicago and other places, they had an event for one day to have this vigil there. And they asked many schools all over the country here and people in their work just to light a candle. And we had this candle lighting at our embassy. And this is Zakiya, it's my Iraqi. When so that's the vigil at the embassy. Conferences, the Al-Hiwar Center, which is the real place for Arab meeting intellectuals to discuss various issues, and we joined them to show them what Iraqi culture and education system is at one time. The IMSA, the SAMSA, that's the abuse, drug abuse and addiction department at the Department of Health and Human Services here in the US. They have a big program of mental health in Iraq. And they brought 7 teams. Now the 7th team is currently now here in the US. And these teams of psychiatrists, psychologists, a nurse and social worker, they come here to train for 2 months. And then they go with some money for a research project to do it in Iraq, and they submit their work. So this, we are doing it together with them. And there was another conference in Cairo about this mental health in Iraq, but SAMSA was the sponsoring of all these activities. And that's the Library of Congress meeting. We have also an event about Beatrice Ohanessian recently, the Iraqi pianist. We had this with the Smithsonian American Indian Museum Concert Hall. And we had, this is Martin Bergovsky, a leading pianist. He played there. Amir Safar played Tantoor. And this is the Philharmonic Orchestra of Baltimore string quartet with Rahim al-Hajj. They played, and this is Seta, Beatrice's sister. She came and to acknowledge the event. Also, we had Health Summit meeting in DC, and that was a big event when the Minister of Health, Dr. Saleh Hasnawi, he came here, and we have many people, maybe 100 people, they were there discussing health issues in Iraq and how can they help Iraq health system. This training program, as I told you, that we have now 100 people to come, 50 for the higher education faculty, and 50 for Ministry of Health to come and train here, and hope this program will be more effective in the future. And we hope really for your contribution to accept these doctors to come here and train. What we need only just access for a free training opportunity, and we pay for the expenses of travel and accommodation. Just private donations, anybody wanted to, as I said, to donate something, we try to get shipment for free. Now recently I was contacted by the Iraqi Engineering Society اللي بيمثلهم عمر الفاروق الدبلوجي من الإمارات الآن موجود هو. They have donation of many people for journals, 30 journals, 10 of each for 9 years, landing there in DC for some time, and the shipment was $13,000 to ship them to Iraq. So I sent an email and I got these NGOs, and in half an hour's time they said, we will ship them for free. Medical consultation for San Francisco, the president of the American Station of Oculoplastic and Reconstructive Surgery, Dr. Stuart Saif, I know him well, and then Dr. Saif, he donated to treat with a team of neurosurgeon, ENT surgeon at San Francisco, a child who was a patient of mine originally with proptosis, with fibrodysplasia, and he's going to help him with surgery, and the hospital all will be free. So there are options where we can help through you and through other healthy people. The recent program which we are working in very, very hard is to establish USMLE examination in Iraq. And we met with the chief of USMLE in Philadelphia, the National Board of Medical Examiners, and we are in the process of doing this. The other thing, TOEFL, we met with the ETS people at Princeton, and ETS is going to be, the TOEFL examination is going to be established in Iraq. In fact, I received yesterday a letter from the Minister of Higher Education that 5 centers now starting in Iraq for TOEFL examination. So that will save our students to come here with TOEFL rather than having TOEFL here and spend some time. The GRE again to be done in Iraq, and we're trying very hard to get this national medical licensing exam in Iraq. Not any doctor will finish his medical school today, tomorrow he can open a clinic and practice. He has to go through national medical licensing exam, and this we hope to be holding to lawyers, to engineers, so it has to be a real standard of quality control. Another event with Lamia Abbas Amara. This is the recent one. Lamia, we had this San Diego meeting there where she lives. We invited 70 people from the community, and we gave her an award, just symbolic award, just to show her that everybody remembers her and enjoying seeing her. This is a lecture at San Diego University, and this is San Francisco. So we need really your help and guidance and support for whatever we do in promoting science, technology, and innovation in Iraq. I'm sure there are so many talents here, so many people who are able and eager to help. In this way, we'll try to start servicing universities and hospitals. We know that if we need 2 things. We need to repair what we have to improve, and also we need to start something from the zero on good basis. So we need to establish a school, university on basis of American standard, and also a hospital on the basis of American standard, and also improve what we have. So we need a reference point as a contrast of goodness to have people relate to that, like what we have in the Middle East. The American University of Beirut played a reference point for really excellence in academia. So we need something like this, and we had this in the 80s, if you remember, anybody of you know that we have Mustashfa Ibn al-Bitar, which was run by the Irish company, part of Irish hotel company, which had this hospital in Baghdad for 10 years, called the Bitar Hospital, and all the staff, all the residents, all the workers, all the administrators were from outside of Iraqis. So the standard of that hospital was as good as any Western hospital. But after the Kuwait invasion, they left the country. So we need something really to be considered on this basis. We try to get all Iraqis together because we believe, and personally I believe that you are the real treasure of the country, and all our colleagues all over the US, the real treasure. And this treasure needs to come together and to know each other first and to know what to do and how to do it. As I said, the talent is there, the ability is there, the desire is there, the real desire, but what we need is some coalition and some organization of how to help. We need to create a strategy. For instance, we had 6 academics, top academics in the region. We don't want to trouble you because we know the difficulties of traveling and your commitments. So we got 6 academics, including Dr. Mohammed Jawad Rida, if you know of him. He's a leading educationist, Mahmoud Thamer, and other guys at our office to discuss what are the requirements to choose the students for the scholarship, the 10,000 scholarship students. How you choose those students on good basis, on healthy basis, scientific basis, without bias. For instance, we put for the one who applies for science, for instance, if he has knowledge, approved knowledge, accredited knowledge in history, this is a bonus for him. If one in the Ministry of Industry, he wants to apply for PhD, and he has done good work in industry, that's a bonus for him to qualify him better than the one who has not done that. So we considered all possibilities, and that was because of the help of our friends here. They helped in their ideas. Create groups, for instance, for books donation, equipment donations, and other donations. And that will be of great help to have people together and communicate virtually and have organizations, virtual organizations to help. And I think I need to mention the last program which we have now with Open Exchange of Learning, or Open Learning Exchange, a big organization which is dealing with reforming curriculum. And we are now in program of reforming mathematics in Iraq. And that's approved by the Ministry of Higher Education. And they approved our plan, which is to have professors, distinguished professors of mathematics in Iraq, make a committee. And with the MIT now, professors of mathematics to get together in a committee-like and then communicate between themselves. And that will be a model for reforming everything, all the curriculum in Iraq. And with the American Association of Medical Colleges, we are trying now in the project to reform the medical curriculum in Iraq. So there are many things going in different directions, although we are a small group, just 2 of us, and supporting people, 2 or 3 of local guys supporting us. But we are doing our best to help in whatever way we can, and we need really your support, your guidance, advices, and that help. And thank you very much.
Dr. Khalili, thank you very much. That was something very interesting. Actually, I've been in Chicago for over 25 years, and this is the first time we see 2 people from our embassy coming to us and telling us what's going on. Thank you very much. I'm very proud to see all those Iraqis, those accomplished Iraqis in various parts of the country. And you indicated, and I have many questions, but I'm not going to monopolize this. I have just one issue that I want to ask you about. We, as an association of Iraqi American Association of Illinois here, we have always wondered what other Iraqi associations are there throughout the country. And we tried once to make some contact with some of them. We never were successful in doing that. So, is there any mechanism you are planning to put together? Because most of us here, I'm sure, are interested in contributing one way or the other to all the programs you discussed that include, giving out books, hosting those doctors who are coming up for training, or any other activities. Many of the activities we're interested in. So my suggestion is, could you put up a website where we, all Iraqis in the US, can come together, exchange ideas, and do things together? Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's great. In fact, we have now, we bought a website launching. And that website called Together for Iraq. But we need help from computer specialists to help us doing this. So it's there. It's going to be launched shortly, inshallah. Together for Iraq. And in that, we've got all the NGOs who are helping Iraq listed in that place. And we'd like really the NGO of Iraq itself, the Iraqis, in the way of NGO or non-NGO. And that would be the best and most contribution to what we want. So we'd like to get everybody together to have a unified front. In fact, one of the slides, which I did not show, I'm sorry not to have brought here, it was showing small islands. And I call that an ocean of need with small islands of goodness. And those small islands are useless because you cannot build on them, they are so small. So you get these islands together to have a big island where you can build on them something useful. So many efforts are present all over the country now, but we need them to get together, to know each other, and to get together. And I hope next year, where we've got now the approval for that, we're going to have a conference for Iraqi academics in action now, Iraqi American professors in all specialties. We're going to have this conference in Washington. We plan for February, but I think February is not a good month. So maybe mid-March, 15th of March or around. And we get those 25 to 30 professors, and we get some link there. And also would like to acknowledge all Iraqi professionals who are 80 years and more, to invite them, send them a ticket, and the hotel expenses to come there, to acknowledge them, acknowledge their efforts. So we need really ideas, we need support, we need help to get people together. You know people here, you know people other places in US which we don't know, who we don't know. Can if you just tell us of the names, we communicate with them and get them together to really implement what you have in mind and what we have in mind.
My question is, there are this scholarship which is being, what is the mechanism in selecting them? Is it central from Baghdad, and even if from Baghdad, or it's from here? And how they choose them from different universities? Thank you.
Yeah, the selection is definitely from Baghdad. We are just here to receive names. And the selection, as I said, we suggested some mechanism of selection. But the selection for the 300 students already here, some of them, the 74 of those 300, to my satisfaction, it was put on, made on good basis. And it was at the time of Dr. Tahir Bakka, who was Minister of Higher Education, and then Sami Muzaffar, Minister of Higher Education, and people applied, and those who were not selected, they complained, and there was a committee to study all these complaints. It was put on geographical basis, and it was, to my satisfaction, it was fair selection. So we hope this coming project of 10,000 students, if it will be materialized, it will be on the same basis. And as I said, we suggested the mechanism of selection as part of what they are having in mind in the background.
Well, first of all, I tip my hat for you, for the job you have done. The second is, in Chicago, we have one of the best universities in the world, the University of Chicago. And we have scientists there, and one of them is an Iraqi scientist. He's very young, he's the youngest professor in the history of the University of Chicago. He's from Baghdad, Iraq. And we, or they, are negotiating with the University of Mustansariya to do a program that is unique. I mean unique. What I mean by unique, it's unique. And at no avail, the negotiation has been about almost 4 to 5 months with the university. We actually invited the president of the University of Mustansariya, and still, a standstill. So if really you want to do something about this, we could really have the professors at the University of Chicago contact you and start, something, because it's very beneficial. And this is the age of IT, information technology. Without information technology, there is nothing you could do. Even in China, now it's a declaration that anybody who could not use a computer is an illiterate. So we have to really scratch literacy by teaching the people how to use the computer. And I would like to have you speak. Thank you
very much. Thanks. First of all, we are really proud of this professor. Would like to know more about him. In what specialty he is? Is that you?
His name is Mohammed Al-Khafaji.
Is it you?
No, his name is young.
You said young.
He's 27 years old. His name is Mohammed Al-Khafaji.
27?
Yes. And he's not a professor at the University of Chicago, but he's a scientist at one of the best laboratory in the world.
In IT?
What?
In IT?
No, in Chicago.
Yes, in what?
It's
In what?
part of the University of Chicago.
What specialty? In IT or something else?
Yes.
In IT?
What?
He's scientist in IT? Information technology?
Yes. And, information technology. At Oregon National Lab and Fermi National Lab, both of them.
Wonderful. Would like to know more about him. We can communicate.
Well,
with
I will
him.
have him contact you directly.
The problem, I mean,
Because he's leading a group of professors at the University of Chicago.
That's wonderful.
And these are highly, educated professors, especially in the field of IT. It's one of the best universities in the world.
الاسم الكريم
نعم.
الاسم الكريم
إحسان القريشي.
المشكلة يعني سيد إحسان هو you don't have in Iraq the system which is here in US. The universities here, they have their identity, they have their budget, they have their say. But in Iraq, still the say is central. The university has its budget from the Ministry of Higher Education. The decision comes from the Ministry of Higher Education. So when you communicate with the university, you will get nowhere. What you need to do is to get through the Ministry of Higher Education, through our office, to get things running at the university level. But has to go through the official line, which is, unfortunately, centralized line. So the university, they have no say in sending anybody to come to see you. It has to be approved by the minister. So what we need to communicate through our office, and we communicate through the Ministry of Higher Education to go to the university, and then the communication will be approved. It will be easy.